Hello and welcome back, guys, to Sound of Manchester. And again, we went to Paris, and again, we had zero hopes of actually pulling out a result. And again, we had a controversial moment with the VAR. But again, we were at the Marcus Rashford Stadium, or probably as they call it, Parc des Princes, and finished up with a victory. It was a fantastic game for all United fans, probably worldwide, to see that Axel Tuanzebe, Aaron Wan-Bissaka, Fred McTominay, probably Rashford, Martial, and you name anyone on the pitch who actually did really well. And it changed a lot of hopes. It changed a lot of perceptions of United fans in a way. But we need to keep focus on the fact that it was one game and how we can actually build on that. And joining me in the panel today is Kushagra and, as usual, Anurag. Both of them who I think we had conversations until almost 3:30, 4 o'clock in the morning, and we were discussing how we actually felt about the game at that very instant. And my first thought after the game was I was absolutely over the moon, but I was more over the moon because of the way we dominated the game in many ways. And I would go to Kushagra immediately because it was something that was probably one of the unexpected things that happened in the game. I mean, we have been playing good counter-attacking football against big teams, but actually dominating Paris, which we didn't do last time when we won at Paris, was
Yeah.
that was probably one of the key changes in that entire system. And we have been calling Ole to bench Pogba because he hasn't really been performing up to the level that happened, and you could see the way midfield was playing, and even after Pogba came in on the pitch. So, how do you look at that, and how does that transform into the result?
we won. United won at Parc de France or Princes or what. I'm
Yeah,
not fluent with my French
yeah,
anyway,
yeah,
so pardon my French. As far as United, as far as Champions League is concerned, United won in Paris last March. If I'm not wrong, yeah, last March,
yeah,
19 March, and United managed to get a victory as well this time as well yesterday night. The basic difference between both the matches for me was, last time that United won, United sat back and hoped to catch PSG on a counter. They got three goals. Essentially, two of them were from defensive mistakes. One
Yeah,
is a howler between centre backs. The other one where Buffon only
Buffon. Yeah,
parries Rashford's shot, and then a
no,
penalty which was
which
lucky because Kimpembe, where he's jumping and you get a penalty. It was the ridiculousness of the beginning of the ridiculousness of VAR that season. You fast forward to around 16, 17 months after that match, 18 months, I think, if I'm not wrong. United traveled to PSG under a cloud. United traveled to PSG, after a good result over the weekend, defeating Newcastle. But yet they had did not really instilled any real confidence amongst their supporters as far as their ability to take on a team of which was perceived caliber of PSG with the likes of Neymar and Mbappe. Amongst the two coaches, I felt Ole Gunnar Solskjaer was the coach who actually understood the limitations of his squad, understood the fact that he had to be brave in dropping players that might look a little out of place when he drops them. So people like Paul Pogba, and you know what? It's not a slight on him per se, but United just do not have the luxury of playing Paul Pogba and expecting a midfield that will sufficiently shield their defense. So in that manner, I felt Scott McTominay and Fred were fantastic yesterday. More so, Fred. I was so impressed with the engine that Fred showed yesterday. I mean,
yeah.
he was
fully.
up and down, all over the pitch, and he was fantastic to the most on most parts. He was fantastic with his footwork. The way he was dribbling with his right foot. At
Yeah,
times, I was just left in awe. I was like, "Where's this player? I've not seen him in 2.5 years. Like, where
exactly.
was he hiding?"
And a one-eyed McTominay in the first half.
Yeah,
Yeah, and a McTominay without a contact lens. I mean, as Anurag was mentioning, just get a LASIK, in that sense, but yeah. Coming back to it, the match, all in all, I felt Ole outshone Thomas Tuchel. He had a clear game plan. Even though United played five at the back and also rather three at the back, five in the midfield and two up top, if you want to put it that way, or a 5-3-2. Either way, United with the three centre halves. What was the most important aspect that we discussed, Pratmesh, in the preview? We discussed that Harry Maguire shouldn't start for United at least in this match because he would not be able to cope up, and that's exactly what helped United here. The fact that Harry Maguire had to stay out for certain reasons, probably a hamstring injury, and we hope that he gets fit soon. But in that instance, it gave you the opportunity to Solskjaer to start Axel Tuanzebe, and Axel Tuanzebe was everything United has been lacking in a
Fantastic.
centre back yesterday. I would not want to hype him up too much because he's just come back from a 10-month injury layoff of an injury that sounds so weird that I don't even find it justified. That how are you out for an entire year with a foot problem? Like, there's surely
Yeah.
more to it that we don't know. But as far as that performance is concerned, and this is the same guy who was the player of the season in a promotion clinching Aston Villa side, which had the likes of Jack Grealish in it, and he
Yep.
won the player of the season above them. So
Yep.
he is definitely a guy of pedigree, and I so hope he can stay fit because I was looking forward to this last season. I remember discussing it with people that if Tuanzebe plays, a lot of our issues will be resolved because he's quick. He's the one defender that United have who's quick, and also he just doesn't get overawed. He's got good aerial presence as we saw last time. He was the first to most crosses. In fact, no, even not all of them. And then Aaron Van Bissaka, all the shit that he's received on social media for his personal life, whatever he's done, whatever he's not done, there's no condoning it, or there's no fanning
Justifying
the
it. Yeah.
fanning the flames. It just happened, man. Like it is what it is. We as United fans cannot take holier than the opposition. Look at the kind of players we supported in the past. And we had a granny shagger in our team. We had a brother sister, like I don't know, like sister-in-law shagger in our team. Then we had the likes of George Best from the at the very very
No, but
beginning. So
it doesn't matter really, does it? We are
it
football
doesn't
fans.
matter
We
as
should
long
just
as you
deal
perform
with
on the
football.
pitch.
Yeah.
As long as you perform on the pitch, we don't really care. And whatever happens in his personal life, I think it's pretty evident why he had suffered this dip of form. I don't think this all came out yesterday in his personal life. I think this must have come out before. It's only hit the public eye now. I think this is one of the things that has gotten his performances down. So all in all, Pratnesh, full marks to Ole Solskjaer. I love the way he understood that a lot of people were slating Moise Keane when he came on. Look at the standards PSG have. But I personally felt with Moise Keane coming in and with Mbappe, changing his position from up top to the left, and Neymar playing behind Moise Keane and near Mbappe, it changed the shape of the match and it helped PSG gain a foothold in that match. And Solskjaer had to reacted at the 65th minute, got in Paul Pogba,
Got the
and
diamond. Yeah.
got the diamond. And believe me, and PSG really weren't in the game after that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
United should
Never
have
really.
won. United should have won 4-1, if not more.
Yeah.
United had two clear-cut chances with Rashford one with Rashford and Martial 2-on-1, and Bruno and Martial 2-on-1.
Yeah.
Both of them tried to square it. Both of them made the wrong decision.
Yeah.
Both of them should have scored, and United should have rubber stamped this result. And then I think all this bullshit that we keep talking about, the PE teacher and all the nonsense, I think it would have gone some way in trying to erase that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and just before we come to you, Anurag, I would a few points that I would like to discuss with you. I would have a really fun fact to put out for the viewers. Kylian Mbappe, since the start of the 18-19 season, has scored 2 goals in the Champions League at the Parc des Princes. The same
And
number of
Mark.
goals have been scored by Marcus Rashford. So that's just a fact that's been floating around.
Yeah.
And coming to something that we mutually loved yesterday was Alex Telles and what his left foot produced, not just from set pieces but from open play as well.
Yep.
He was absolutely it was pleasing to the eye. In one of the videos that you did for our sister channel, the Sports Joy, and you mentioned that the light bulb and how it's been dark until then, and it just lit up. An interesting analogy there, but that is exactly what happens. It was like a Mentos yesterday for us.
Yeah.
And another thing that I wanted to just put it as a thought. I felt Victor Lindelof had one of his better games yesterday. I felt that playing in a back three on one side of the defense actually helped him because he's not the kind of defender who would want to be very stationary. I think he's kind of a mobile defender in a sense, and I think the fact that he had that extra bit of comfort of actually being given that opportunity to err. I don't know whether it sounds right or not, but having that opportunity to err and somebody actually covering him up actually made him a little more confident. I think he played one of his better games yesterday. So what do you make of that? And obviously Axel Tuanzebe played a fantastic game along with Van Bissaka. I think even Shaw looked way better than he's looked all season long. So one about the Talis thing and the back three and how they actually played. What do you think of that?
So I'll just start off with Lindelof here. There were a few compounded questions, so I'll just start off with Lindelof. Again, if this is the defender who is going to play 38 games, I'm sorry. Again, he's had a good game, credit where it's due, but he's going to excel only in situations like this. So again, if this person is going to play 38 games, this is not a team that's going to win the Premier League. I'm very sorry to say that, but yeah, he's had a good game. I think being a senior defender in that back three, he did a good job in marshalling everything. Uh, he took that central role. He made some good clearances. Good job. I think he showed things up really well. Uh, and there's been so much talk about Alex Tillis. Alex Tillis' defensive prowess. Again, there's just one stat that I'd want to mention, which might not really highlight how good Alex Tillis is defensively, but it might tell you how good a defensive system he has been a part of, especially in Porto. Porto have been the best defensive team in Portugal for 3 seasons running. They've conceded less than 22 goals in 3 seasons, and for 5 seasons in a row, they've conceded less than 22 goals in a 34 game season. And in one season, Benfica conceded some 18 goals. They conceded 19. So besides that, they were on 4 occasions they were better. They were the best defensive team, and he was a part of that team. So it makes us believe to a certain extent even he is to a great extent we can trust that he is good defensively. So if that is the case, I think uh, if my ideal lineup, the sort of lineup that I've been dreaming is Tuanzebe. And yeah, as Kushagra rightly put out, he's coming back after a long time, and we don't want to hype him up too much.
Yeah.
But at the same time, he was matching Kylian Mbappe pace to pace. That was absolutely magnificent, and we've not seen that many times,
I
honestly.
don't think I've seen that in world football as of now.
Absolutely
Yeah,
not.
that
And
that that just doesn't happen.
yep. And just to our viewers, so we're also watching another Champions League game right in front of our eyes. So even that is running. So again, leaving that aside, so Tuanzebe, fabulous, fabulous performance, especially after all the layoff that he's had, after all the break that he's had. I've been very, very happy for him. But my man of the match yesterday was Fred. Oh my God, what a performance from the lad! And
Yeah.
Scott McTominay, yes, he did well, but if you remember the first 15 minutes, he was a little shaky,
Yeah.
where I think see
Got the yellow card as well.
got the yellow
Yeah.
card. He got the yellow card a little later. I think the first 15 minutes, where especially he was making those fouls, which eventually led to the yellow card, obviously. But again, I think Neymar was left one on one in situations with Fred, with Scott McTominay, with Aaron Van Bissaka, and they were not dealing with him as well as they did. Throughout the game or later on, initially they were struggling with Neymar, and obviously that's a player of a whole different class. It's difficult to manage his dribbling skills, and
Yeah.
he nutmegged Fred. He was going past Scott McTominay for fun, and PSG put out a Twitter post on that regarding that, which backfired quite significantly, obviously. Yeah, but I think despite having that bad start, the way Scott McTominay recovered tells you everything that needs to be said about Scott McTominay. It can be very, very off-putting for a player in such a big game to start on such a negative note and then to pick up and then to shore things up and then to pick the confidence to play the way that he did. Fabulous stuff from Scott McTominay. Kudos. It's not the best performance of the day, but I think character-wise, that speaks a lot about
Yeah.
Scott McTominay. I've been really impressed with that as well. So yeah, all in all, and my only disappointment yesterday was again Martial. What was he doing with that header? If you look at it, I think he was like in that striker's instinct. He's
Yeah.
looking at the ball coming and he's sort of uh, tilted his head at the exact
That was
moment.
that was that was
His
that is the result of a half-hearted attempt to play
Yeah,
the ball,
half-hearted attempt, and his
and
his head
Yeah,
tilted towards the goal. Obviously, if the ball hits your face, it's
you know
bound to go towards
what
the
was
goal. Yeah,
frustrating? Tellez
yeah,
was right behind him. Had he
yeah.
left
yeah,
the ball, Tellez would have cleared it.
And
So it was
I think Teles's jump was very much accurate. I think he could have very much
yeah.
received the ball
And
in a
plus, Tellez
position
is
where
a
he would have wanted.
defender. Tellez is a defender. I
Yeah, he should have.
very well expect him to,
but it was
Hmm.
it was a fantastic header by Martial. Let's give
Yeah.
credit to that.
Again, see,
Yeah.
the one thing that I
Credit to
hate.
Martial for that own goal. Yeah.
Yeah. Again, one thing that I really,
He
really
did
hate
get the
about.
penalty though. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was coming to that. The one thing that I hate about Rashford and Martial is this thing. They can be as of putting in a situation, and in the same game they can produce a piece of magic. That
That's why
little
you don't
turn that
take
he
them
did.
off. That's
Yeah,
why you don't take them off.
yeah, that little turn that he did, which led to the penalty, that
World
goal,
class.
that world class, the goal that Rashford scored, world class.
uh,
Again, there was another shot that Rashford took from around about the similar place, which Keylor
With
Navas
fist
did
pass.
made a
Yeah.
good
Yeah.
save.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a very good save from
Yeah,
the
Kill
keeper.
Navas
Second time he didn't
fingertip
get.
save.
Yeah, that was
Yeah.
actually a much better save.
I
He
think that was
actually could
that
have
was
gotten
his.
closer.
I think that was Rashford's rangefinder in the second goal.
Yeah, I that one actually got me hyped. Oh, when the one which eventually went into the goal, it didn't seem like the best of
yeah.
strikes from. I mean, yeah, he connected it quite beautifully, but I still thought Navas could potentially get a hand on it or something. He should have probably. Again, that's a very stupid thing to say for me, but yeah, we got that on a day which should have been 4 or 5-1. I think. See, the sort of chances that we missed is the thing that frustrates me. The lay. I mean, the the layoff balls that Bruno was trying, or you know the Rashford tried one, it went somewhere else. Anthony Martial, he had to
Yeah,
run a long way. The one which Bruno tried, I think Danilo Pereira just got a leg exactly at time
yeah.
on time. I again this is why they end up scoring 24, 25 goals a season, not 40. They're very
Okay.
much capable of. You see that talent, you see that spark in them. I think once they find that zone, I hope Cavani's presence in the team maybe helps in that sense. Maybe helps them understand a perspective or a way to be more consistent. I think that is going to be a lot more helpful. So yeah, all in all, fabulous performance. Should have been 3 or 4-1, but again, as they say,
Yeah.
we got the 3 points, so it doesn't really matter.
Talking about Cavani, I think his presence definitely helped Zebe because it looked as if
They were
Cavani
having
was
a
giving
conversation, yeah, yeah.
quite a lesson about how to deal with it.
Whatever
But
he said,
one
it
final
worked well.
question, before we wrap it up, and we will play Chelsea on the weekend, and we have been talking about probably the way the strikers are inconsistent in terms within the same game. That is what is really causing a lot of problems for United going up
Mm.
front, and we play a Chelsea team who might on the outset look a little vulnerable when it comes to defending. Not that their goalkeeper is vulnerable anymore. It's a better keeper that they have in place now. But do you think this is something that going into the Chelsea game, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer will probably have to work with his forward line because he was the striker? That would probably be easier for him as a manager. I don't know how that dynamic would actually work out. But is that something that comes down to clarity of thought? Is that something that is just the rush of blood sometimes? Or is it better to be trained in situations? I mean, how do you work on that?
Is that for me or
Yeah,
Anurag?
Yeah, it's
yeah, yeah,
It's for me.
yeah.
yeah,
Okay. I don't know. I don't know if you essentially train with it. I don't think. I don't think you can exactly prepare for that situation per se. I think See, first of all, as far when you talk about United facing Chelsea, as we're gonna discuss over the weekend. We're gonna look at critical pivotal points for United and for Chelsea, and as far as the Chelsea squad is concerned, they've got a plethora of options in their attacking formation. And the thing with Lampard is, with all due respect, he can just ask these guys to start playing. And with Werner and Havertz, who already have started building up a relationship, with Pulisic being as good as he is, and also you're sprinkling in a Ziyech in there as well. So all of that combined makes for a very very juicy cocktail. As far as Ole Solskjaer is concerned, you have to understand the profile of attackers that Lampard has his disposal. You know, he has two out and out players in Ziyech and Ziyech is a very good left winger as well. He has a right winger, proper right winger in Ziyech, and he's got a guy who can play number 10 left or right. With Solskjaer, he's got three players who create chances for themselves, don't create chances for their teammates. Then he's got one winger who might as well not be there because all he does is play as a support wing back or a support, fullback because all he does is track and he rarely has any output than James. And then he's got no one. He's got no one. So when you compare both the selections, Ole Solskjaer is limited, and in that sense, if you're so limited, you can't essentially
Yeah.
guarantee your style of play in terms of attack. This diamond is the first time I've felt that Ole Solskjaer has moved away from the 4-2-3 or 4-3-3, 4-2-3-1, 4-3-3, constant dross of 4-3-3 that United played, even though it wasn't really utilizing their strengths at that point. Now United have like 8 to 9 good midfielders, so they should play a heavy midfield. They should, from three up top, they should come down to two up top and play a four concentrated midfield. Whether it's a diamond, whether it's five across the midfield, whether it's a different combination. That is what Solskjaer has to earn his money there. But as far as this attacking strengths of United are concerned, I feel United are best placed with Bruno as the number 10 and with two strikers, you know, as Rashford and Martial playing up top because both those guys are very much capable of drifting outside and coming back in.
Yep.
I would like to see that in my ideal starting 11. I would like to see Tuanzebe starting with
Maguire.
yeah.
You
It's
have
just
no option
I'm
there.
not convinced with Maguire, but okay, Tuanzebe starting with Maguire. Then Alex Telles as left back, Van Bissaka as the right back. This is a back four that I'm talking about. I would hope that he might go for a back four in against Chelsea. In the middle, I would have Fred and Scott McTominay as the base of the midfield. With Fred, of course, you can't drop either of them. Both of them had fantastic matches, and unfortunately, unless there's a fitness issue, then I would bring in the likes of Matic as a screen. But otherwise, these two start. With Fred playing on the right hand side. So I would hope for a diamond. Fred McTominay as the base, Fred playing on the right. You can have a Pogba on the left. You can have Bruno at the top of the base, or you can have Fred on the right, Matic at the bottom, Van de Beek at the left, and Bruno up top. So you can rotate amongst that diamond. You got essentially sub options for all the four positions.
Yep.
So that is something that United should do. Then they've got two strikers up top. Again, they'll have Cavani and Igalo in the wings on the bench. So again, you can replace those guys. You've got Luke Shaw, which in this system, who's going to sit as the backup left back, and you've got Timothy Fosu-Mensah or Brandon Williams, either of whom who can cover at right back. So, and then let's not forget United have got Greenwood as well. So I think this gives you a very good squad, but also a very good bench to change that squad,
Yeah.
which I felt was the biggest problem for United last year. So that sort of a balance, even though we United have not been supported, is there. And as far as my prediction for the game is concerned, I'd go for a 3-2 United win actually. And it often comes to bite me in the ass, but yeah.
No, it won't because I think you predicted a bold one before this when you said
Yeah,
PSG
I
doesn't
said,
scare you. Yeah.
yeah, I told you PSG doesn't scare me.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So let's
honestly.
hope. Let's hope it's. I would take a 3-2 any day, but I would take a 1-0 also any day. Anurag, what would you say about the Chelsea game? Is there anything that you're particularly anxious about that you're going to look forward to?
Actually, Kushagra pretty much covered everything there. Even things that I had in mind or things that I was sort of having in mind but was not able to put forward. But the only thing I'm a little concerned about is there were some rumors of Mason Greenwood not being in the 11 because of some disciplinary issues. That is the
Yeah.
only concern that I potentially have. But besides that, I think we've got a now with a diamond we can have backups, which we can have decent bench. That is something as we've lacked for so long, so long. And I think with that diamond it gives that backup on the bench as well. So I think again, if we really start with the diamond, I think you're going to see a massive shift in this whole polarized fan base towards Ole. They're going to start appreciating him a little more, but I'm not sure if he is going to do that. That's going to be a little risky. But I think since we have such great midfielders, I think we should go and do that. So I hope that happens, and I'm hoping for you know realistically, I'm thinking it could be a draw, but as a fan, I'm hoping it's 3-1.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
I couldn't
I think
say, yeah.
we're going to lock those strikers
Yeah,
up. These people just locked Neymar and Mbappe. Come
yeah.
on.
It makes for a really good case, and absolutely buying the fact that we need to play with 4-4-2 going in the future. It doesn't matter whether it's a 4-4, where when if you want to go defensively, it is a more basic 4-4-2. Now you could try with the diamond as well because it is more versatile. But I think that makes a lot of sense, and I myself would go for a 2-1 United win. Probably because of the inconsistency of the way we finish, it's going to be something that we might see a 4-0 as well. You never know. But yeah, so let's hope for the best. And it's getting pretty late, isn't it now? And I guess we covered everything that we wanted to out of this one. So before we end, I would like to thank Anurag and Kushagra for joining me.
Always a pleasure.
Yeah, it's
Results
always
after
a
this,
pleasure after a good game.
after
Yeah,
good results. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
man.
yeah, it's always a pleasure after a
And
good
it is
game.
our channel और कोई आएगा नहीं, so it's fine.
हम तो बोलेंगे.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, totally. I think it is indeed our channel, and I think it is more or less channel for all the fans who want to be a part of it as well. And for me personally, I'm totally delighted with the result. And we let's hope that the Chelsea game actually gives us something good to cheer about again. So signing off from Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's jersey. This is Prathamesh. Thank you, and thank you for joining Sound of Manchester.